I think the continuum, if you take the view that, again, human beings are very complex, so I'm not saying that there's one interpretation of a human being, but let's just say our need to communicate is a tremendous need. That the communication begins within our own organism. If we're not able to communicate within our own organism, it limits our ability to experience. Well, if I have no capacity to experience, meaning I have to, if all my experience is external, my sense of myself becomes empty. And I become dependent on other people for recognition, for validation, for anything that goes on. I become completely outer directed, so that the sense of myself is I'm a stranger to myself. I really don't inhabit myself. Very often people will say to me, oh, I need to get into movement. I think I'll go to a so-and-so class. It is totally structured and patterned. No, excuse me, people will say, I need to get into my body. And so they go to a class that's totally structured. You will never get into your body that way, because what you're going to go into is structure. So you're going to go into the structure of what it is, but it's not your body. Continuum offers into the health and healing community a completely different model of what thriving means. And it's interesting when a baby has the inability to thrive because it's imploding in on itself. It's moving backwards. It's not able to be nourished. That could be the same thing with our constraints. Our constraints create barriers to nourishment. So that I think that continuum is one of the kindest ways of dealing with constraints that I have ever seen. In other words, that what we do is we set up suggestions that help to soften the constraints, but how that happens is not imposed. In other words, we will demonstrate to someone or to the class or whatever a means of accessing something. But how you get there is your own business, and what begins to happen is unique to you. And so that there is a way that we teach of becoming sensitive and of approaching our organisms, but we don't impose structure and pattern on it, which would become another form of tyranny in a way, if you look at it that way, meaning where the intelligence of that person's system is unable to be accessed. So what we do is that we are constantly encouraging the accessing of that person's unique intelligence by the elegant way we have, I think it's elegant anyway, of dissolving constraints.